Crunch, crunch, both sides. Nice and soft inside with all that fruit. It don't taste porky or anything like that. That is Lardy Cake. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we are in the southern counties of the UK. We're round about Hampshire, Berkshire, Wiltshire, Oxfordshire. We're making a lardy cake. Now a lardy cake is also known by many names. Lardy bread, Lardy John's, dough cake and Foster's cake. Now lardy cake, as the name suggests, is made with one main ingredient, lard. Simple as that. It's made with one ingredient of lard. Now, how it came around? It came around in the 19th century, and no one is really clear the date of when it came around, but it came around in the 19th century, and it was probably developed in the farming communities to provide a filling, high energy food, so they could work longer and harder in the farming communities. Now lard has been around for such a long time. It's a proven ingredient in baking and cooking, you know, and it's one of those ingredients now which seems to be a lost art in using. Everybody reaches for the oil or butter and olive oil. You know, olive oil in English cooking never existed. Now this lardy cake starts with making some bread. So let's crack on and show you how to do it. There's some flour in there, and I'm going to chuck in some salt. A little bit of salt. So we got the salt in there. We're just going to give that a mix through. I'm going in there with some sugar. Get the sugar in there. Now this is dried yeast. That's going in there. Now you can prove it if you want. You can tip it in milk or water, prove it, and then add it. I'm just going to chuck it in here. We're not making a hard job out of this. Now this is an optional ingredient to actually go in the bread flour, but this is sort of like a traditional way, and we're going in there with a teaspoon of mixed spice. Now if you don't know what mixed spice is, it's a very traditional English recipe this, and I'll leave the link in the description. You can read how to make mixed spice, English mixed spice. Right, so we're just going to give that a mix in. Now that's going to put a little bit of flavour through our dough. Now a lot of people miss this out. They just go straight onto the bread and throw the fruit in with the sugar and the lard. But you know, this puts a fantastic flavour through there. We want a well in the centre, and this is our milk. We're going to bob our milk in there. And then we're just going to mix it into a dough. Now you can use a stand mixer if you so wish. That's up to you. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. They didn't have a stand mixer. This smells sensational already. I love that smell of English mixed spice. Now we need to give this a bit of a knead in. We've got to incorporate all this in there. This is why people go to stand mixers now, you know. Just put it all in a stand mixer, whiz it up, let it do its thing. But you know, it only takes about 10 minutes to actually do this by hand. And this is the original way. So let's have that in there. Now I'm certainly not going to say that this is an easy way to mix this up. You know, obviously a stand mixer, you don't do anything. So we're just going to give this a little bit of kneading in this bowl. So basically what I'm actually doing when I'm kneading, for all the people that don't knead bread. Now I'm not a baker, but I can bake. Okay? My trade is not baking, but basically what we do, we push down with the palm of our hand and pull back with our fingers, and then it rolls over the bread dough. So you push down and you roll back, so it's nice and gently, and then you bring it over. And what it's doing, it's basically, if I pull it all apart, it's trapping everything inside there, you know. Now, like I say, I'm not a baker, so everybody has their own way, but this is my way and it works every time. Now you want to grease out your little bowl a bit and we want to cover it. Now I'm going to get a little bit of that lard, not much. After all, we are making a lardy cake. Right, that's in there. We need to cover it. Cover it with anything you want. It's going to have to stand for about an hour or more till it doubles in size. That's a plastic bag. That will do. Just leave it till it doubles in size. Okay, we've let this rest about an hour in here. There you go. That's doubled in size. Right, now what we're going to do is roll this out. So we're going to want a good amount of flour on here. And we're going to roll it to the size of this tin. Now this tin is a little bit big for what I wanted, but I couldn't find another one, so it'll have to do. Right, there's our bread. Now I'm using a bread flour, and it's not one of the best flours, I can tell you now. Just shove that down there. Right, we need to roll this out into a rectangle. So let's just get that rolled out. Now don't worry about the flour just for now. We've got enough on there. Got a squeaky rolling pin by the sound of it. Now we want a decent rectangle on here. This is where we're going to put our lard and our fruit. We got this big rectangle on here, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's about between 1/2 centimetre thick. Well, that'll do for now, just to put the stuff on. We're going to fold it all over. Now, what we need to be doing, we need to be looking at this, and we need to be splitting the 2/3, 1/3. Now this 1/3 at the top is going to be the bit they'll fold over. So you need to be looking roughly where you're going to get 2/3, 1/3. Now it's only a guess, but we need to be coming in there somewhere like that. Somewhere about there. That looks about 1/3 to 2/3. Okay, so we want to just put a little line like that with your finger. This bit here we're covering in lard. Now you can smear it all on with your hands if you want, or you can just put it on with a spoon. So just get that all on there. Now this is homemade lard, but you know you can use store-bought. Just buy the best lard you can get. Now this is why I didn't do it with my hands. I'm trying to keep my hands clean. Now we're going over there with our fruit. So just get your fruit on. Perfect amount of fruit. Now what we need to do is aim for that middle bit there. We're going on there with some sugar. Now it don't matter if it overlaps anything, don't worry about it. So we're going on the sugar down the middle bit like that. Okay, now just give your fruit a little bit of a tap in like that, see if it sticks on there, because when we fold it over it might come off. And then we're taking this end and we're bringing it over and squashing it down like that, and then we're taking this fruit end over there. So that's going over there like that. That's nice and straightforward. Just get that a nip up there like that. Okay, so that is our fruit mix in there, flour. And then don't be frightened. And this is where we roll out. And don't worry about it, we're just going to roll it flat, and hopefully the fruit won't come through. Now if it does, it does. So basically we're just rolling this out into a bit of an oblong shape. And then we're going to fold it exactly the same. That's coming in there, we don't want all that flour on there. Give that a brushing off. And then we're taking that one over the top of there. Again, we don't want all that flour. Now, what we have to try and do now is a little bit more complicated. We have to try and roll that to the size of our tin. So, nice and steady. Now I do turn it over. I'm not worried about turning it over. Turn it over, roll it out. It's a long way short yet. Now that's looking about right. Okay, so there's our tin. We're going to get that in our tin. And then all you do is you just squash it into the bottom. Just squash it up to the ends. Don't be frightened of getting it squashed in there. Squash it up the best you can. That now has got to be covered up and proof for about another half an hour. So we're just going to put that in a plastic bag. So that's nice and straightforward. In our plastic bag. Leave it to raise up. Now we're going to give it about 3/4 of an hour, something like that, because it's not too hot in here. But we want it to come up before we mark it. That's it, just leave it 3/4 of an hour. Okay, it's been about, I've got the oven on actually. I'm preheating this oven 165 degrees C. I'll put the Fahrenheit in the description. It'll be about 370, somewhere around about there. But I'm preheating the oven already, and it's been about an hour and 15 minutes since we covered this up. So let's get it out of here. Now what we need to do, we need to mark it so we know how much we're having per portion. Now I've got one of these wheelie things, look, and I'll leave a description in the description where you can get one from if you want one. Right, all we're going to do is mark it. Mark it that way. And then I've got a square tin obviously, so we're going to mark it this way. Now they're going to be little cakes these, but we're not worried about that. You'll have to come all the way through to the bottom. Come all the way through to the bottom in there. Because what happens is the lard and the sugars soak through to the bottom. Absolutely delicious. So we're making some little cakes here, look, but we're not worried about that. All the way through there. And then we'll come through there. Okay, that's got it, that'll do. So there is our tray full of lardy cake. We'll bang it in the oven. So we got that in there, and we are going to hit the time for, let's say 25 minutes. We're going to do 25 minutes on this because it's an air fryer oven. So we're going to cook this in there, and then we'll check it from about 20 minutes. Okay, there we have it. That's end hot. We're going to get that out of there. Look in there. So there we are. There's our lardy cake in there. Right, this in here, I'm sorry this is still going, but there you go. This in here is equal parts golden syrup and water all mixed together. Now we're going to put a glaze over the top of here. So over we go. It's got to go on now while it's hot, because it basically soaks into the top. So on it goes, nice and steady. Get that on there. Now you can do sugar and water, but I'll tell you, golden syrup and water gives it that lovely flavour over the top, you know. Except it's not going to be the top, because you're going to turn it upside down. It'll be on the bottom. But you know what I mean. So we get a good dusting on there, and then over the top with a little bit of caster sugar. Get some sugar over the top of there. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to let that have about 5 minutes or so before we even try to turn it out, you know. And when we turn it out, it goes upside down. And I can tell you the whole place in here, it smells amazing. It's all through and outside. It's fantastic. Okay, we've got that there, and we're going to turn that out onto a board. So we're going to put the board on the top. Oh, that's still hot actually. And we're going to flip it over. So flip over, nice and steady. Okay, let's get that off there. Oh, come on, look in here. Wow, that looks tremendous. Now, me, because I'm a monkey, butcher. Oh, get that butter in there melted. Whew. Melt pretty quick actually, it's that hot. Oh, just leave that there a second. That's too hot to eat. Wow, come on, look at that. Oh, that is lardy cake. Look at that. That is absolutely boiling. Whew. In fact, it's that hot I can't hold it. Oh, give it a go. Oh, oh, oh. There's no other words actually, you know. When you think back to these old-fashioned recipes, they're absolutely fabulous. You know, this is a bit like a Christmas cake in a bread. That is superb. Crunch, crunch, both sides. Nice and soft inside with all that fruit. It's made of lard. It don't taste porky or anything like that. That is absolutely fantastic. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. Catch you in the next video. Mm.